This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, so true. So true. How are you? How was your weekend? How did everything go? Did you establish everything you wanted to accomplish? Did you travel the world on a vomit-free weekend? I mean, I don't know. I think that those things are important as you are hanging out and doing all the fun stuff that you get to do. Anyways, today is Monday, March the 27th of 2023, day number 86 of the year, and only 279 days left to go. So the countdown to extinction continues to go forward. There is no doubt about it. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when you start thinking about everything that's going on, how can you not think of this as the countdown to extinction? I mean, what the hell are we counting down to? I mean, I always feel like we're counting down to something. I mean, the year end, the end of the day, hours of work. I mean, all that kind of fun stuff as we are talking, moving, and grooving. Anyway, so let's talk about the things that you can do if you want to interact with the show. You can go to a little section on the interwebs called callinradio.com, called callinradio.com. That will get everything moving and grooving over there if you want to hang out. That's kind of a cool part of what you can do. If you want to look at the visual radio side of everything that we do, you can go to safetyfm.com or radiobig.fm and click on the section that says, guess what? Visual radio. Yes, visual radio. That will get everything moving and grooving. And then if you're not familiar with the show, this is what it kind of goes as. We talk about safety in the news and safety. We bring in some professional broadcasters that go around and about and talk about all the fun stuff that they're doing. And then from that particular point, we move forward and do all the fun stuff that is going on. Anyways, let's start talking right away about what the hell was trending over the weekend. So let's do that right now.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in the trend of the end of the end, and let's talk about that and what's potentially on tap today. Cyclone Freddy smashes global storm records, and Elon Musk revalues Twitter. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Former President Donald Trump kicked off his 2024 schedule in Waco. Yes, good old Waco on Saturday to mixed results. We'll talk about that as we get a little swampy. Tom Brady is the new co-owner of the Las Vegas Aces, and someone hacked Ray Liotta's Facebook page. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And Grey's Anatomy gets the season number 20, and Netflix gives you a fifth and final season. So we'll talk all about that. So let's do this. Let's bring in the pro broadcasters where they can be pro-like and talk about everything that is going on inside of the world of the news. And then I'll come back and do all the things that we do to make people infuriated. I mean, to make people happy about what is going on inside of the world. So let's do that right now. Let's get you into the trends of the ends of the ends and talk about what the hell's going on in the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Georgia is declaring a state of emergency in response to a string of severe storms that hit the South over the weekend. Governor Brian Kemp made it official Sunday as thunderstorms and multiple tornadoes were felt in parts of the state. High-velocity winds have caused damage to homes and businesses. More than 24 people died across Mississippi and Alabama after a recent outbreak of tornadoes. President Biden declared an emergency in Mississippi to aid in recovery and cleanup efforts. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby is defending President Biden ordering airstrikes in response to a string of recent Iranian-backed attacks on U.S. bases in Syria.
And the president retaliated swiftly and boldly, significantly, to deal with that.
Appearing on CBS Face the Nation, Kirby stressed the administration's commitment to protecting U.S. troops. When asked if there would be a response to 3 follow-up attacks by militant groups, one of which injured another service member, Kirby did not rule out further military action. Rapper Kanye West says an actor's performance in a 2012 movie comedy has made him change his tune about Jewish people. Trey Thomas explains.
West was banned from multiple social media platforms in 2022 after a series of anti-Semitic posts. He posted on his Instagram account over the weekend, "Watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again." West included a poster of the movie that was based on the late 80s TV show that starred Johnny Depp. I'm Trey Thomas.
The death toll from an explosion at a chocolate factory in Pennsylvania is now 7. Authorities say the remains of 2 more victims were discovered on Sunday. At least 7 people were taken to area hospitals in varying condition on Friday after the initial blast. There hasn't been any official word as to what caused the deadly explosion. And actor Daniel Radcliffe is going to be a dad. The Harry Potter star and his longtime girlfriend, actress Erin Dark, are expecting their first child. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The US is urging compromise in Israel over controversial judicial reform plans. There's major disruption in Germany as unions hold strikes over pay. Taiwan's accusing China of using coercion to undermine its international standing after Honduras ended its diplomatic relationship with the island. And US Speaker Kevin McCarthy says the House will move forward with legislation on TikTok.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Congressman James Comer wants Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg to spill the details on his criminal investigation against former President Trump.
That has no business being litigated in a local district attorney's office.
Appearing on CNN's State of the Union, the Kentucky Republican defended an attempt by House GOP to get Bragg to bring Congress into his investigation of possible financial criminal charges against the ex-president involving hush money paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. Comer said he believes the case is politically motivated and the Manhattan DA wouldn't be pursuing it if Trump wasn't running for president. The House of Representatives is moving forward on a bill that would ban TikTok in the U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tweeted that the legislation will protect Americans from the technological tentacles of the Chinese Communist Party. McCarthy's tweet came 3 days after the CEO of TikTok testified before a bipartisan House committee. In addition to concerns about TikTok allowing the Chinese government access to personal and private data, the committee also expressed concerns about children's safety, noting posts about dangerous challenges and harming themselves. Jonathan Majors is facing assault charges after being arrested in New York. Chris Coraggio has more.
TMZ reported Majors was arrested Saturday morning on charges of strangulation, assault, and harassment after a woman alleged he attacked her following a dispute. Majors has had a huge 2023 so far at the box office, starring in both Creed 3 and the latest Ant-Man film. A representative for Majors told TMZ the actor had done nothing wrong and was looking forward to clearing his name. I'm Chris Coraggio.
And Nassau County, New York police are looking into a shooting that injured 4 people on Saturday night. Authorities say a man pulled out a gun and fired into a crowd, hitting 4 men. The suspect fled on foot from the location while all 4 victims were taken to a nearby hospital where they are expected to be okay. The gang investigative unit is handling the case, but has not yet released any possible motivation behind the shooting. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, grown-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Safety trainers still training in warped version. How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Polzel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 14 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this marvelous Monday. And yes, a lot of news being distributed around the globe as we are talking. Anyways, I guess we should talk a little bit about the things that you can do if you want to do it. If you want to take a listen to what we have going on the radio big side of the house, you can do that on iHeartRadio. Or you can also do that on TuneIn Radio, or you can even do that on Apple Music in regards of streaming it. Yes, you can stream it live inside of there. A lot of people get confused when I say that we are on iHeart on the podcast side. We are there, but we are actually streaming 24/7 on Radio Big. So that's always an option for you if you want to take a listen to what the hell's going on that side of the equator. And then you have the Safety FM app to be able to take a listen to and do all of the fun stuff that we do inside of there as well. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the shit list, because I think that is going to be important. Okay, a few months into his ownership of Twitter, Elon Musk has offered stock grants to some of the remaining employees that value the company around $20 billion worth. Remembering Musk bought the company for around $44 billion, okay? So he has determined that it is so far a loser of $24 billion is what it sounds like. But wait, in a memo to staff, Musk said that that he sees a clear but difficult path that leads the company to a $250 billion valuation, suggesting that those stock grants would be worth 10 times their current value in the coming years. I don't know how the math is coming about, but hey, the guy must know something because he's done things with other companies in the past, so there you go. Anyways, the auctioneer overseeing the sale of items belonging to a convicted murderer, Alex Murdaugh estate, says that it's the largest auction he's ever seen. The event lasted over 6 hours, with buyers shelling out well over market prices to own a piece of the spooky history. A Yeti thermos sold for $400. A beer koozie sold for $500, and a set of mounted antlers sold for $10,000. This is all coming via CNN. Proceeds from the sale of the items are getting lumped into a now notorious Morcell estate, yes, which sold nearly $4 million last week after paying legal fees and selling small claims against the estate. More than $2.6 million will go to the victims on the February 2019 boat crash in which Murdaugh's son Paul crashed a boat and killed one person and injured others. So a lot of stuff there. What do you think about this? I mean, I know it's news, but we're definitely talking about it. But man, makes you kind of wonder what the hell's going on in that world out there. That is for sure. Anyways, a massive cyclone that began in early February is finally dissipating. Yes, after wreaking havoc across the southern Indian Ocean and Southeast Africa ever since, dubbed the Cyclone Freddy. It was made landfall 3 times, pummeling countries like Madagascar, Malawi, Bazawi with torrential rain, and has caused mudslides, flooding, and has killed at least 600 people. Tens of thousands of people remain displaced from their homes. Freddy is believed to be the longest cyclone ever recorded and has shattered the records of cyclone energy as measured by overall strength of time. So there you go. Last week, news broke in Florida. The principals were fired after some parents complained that their 11 and 12-year-old kids had seen photo of David's sculpture in all its naked glory. Now, mayor of Florence, Italy, where the actual sculpture is displayed, has invited the dismissed principal to see it in person. The principal told the Associated Press on Sunday that she is considering taking the mayor's up on his offer. Now, here's my question. If you offer to see this thing in all of its glory, in all of its nude glory, we'll put it that way, or naked glory, are you paying for the ticket for somebody to get their ass over there? Because, I mean, I just want to understand, because I am definitely interested.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so imagine the excitement of buying a $68,000 Maserati SUV only to find out weeks later that it was a stolen vehicle. Yep. A North Carolina man says that he bought his wife in exactly such a vehicle from an online shop, Carvana, last November, where they took it into service. The technicians found a mismatch between the VIN and the purchase paperwork. He thought that he bought a 2021 for the deal, but really got a vehicle from 2017. Then began all too familiar customer service death spiral from hell. Since it was stolen vehicle, the police took possession of it, but to get his money back, Carvana needed to take the car back, but the man couldn't surrender the car because the police had it because it was stolen. Carvana says the person that they bought it from Carvana says the person they bought it from went through a sophisticated criminal steps to pull off the con. Now they ripped off the buyer, is seeking for $1 million worth of damages. This is according to ABC 11. I have to tell you, I understand that Carvana does all kinds of business, and don't get me wrong, because they do. And I have bought 3 cars from them so far. Yes, 3 cars, not that I still have all 3 cars in possession. And 2 of the experiences were really, really good, and one was the most piss-poor car experience that I've ever had in my life. And I've had one where I even had a sewer company in the past, so that should tell you a story. But yeah, Carvana, for some reason, it seems to be going down a downward spiral with a lot of things that are going on with them. And I don't know if that's going to be one of those things that people go, shouldn't you say allegedly?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's start talking right away about the things that were going on in the box office over the weekend, because some people really care about that. At number 10 was Avatar: The Way of the Water. At number 9 was I said Avatar: The Way of the Water with $1.4 million. At number 9 was Champions with $1.5 million. At number 8 was Jesus Revolution with $2 million. And number 7 was Cocaine Bear with $2.1 million. And number 6, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, $2.4 million. At number 5, 65, $3.2 million. At number 4 was Scream 6 with $8.4 million. At number 3 was Shazam! Fury of the Gods with $9.7 million. And at the number 2 spot was Creed. It went down to number 3 last week, and now it's back up to number 2 with $10.4 million. And at the number 1 spot at the box office, it's a part 4 of a movie, making $73.5 million, and that would be John Wick. So there you go. John Wick, killing it right there. So I think it was like 130 some odd $million over the weekend. So there you go. Don't know, but it kind of makes you think about some stuff. So I guess let's get swampy for a moment, because that's what we have to do around here. Former President Donald Trump held his first 2024 election rally on Saturday in Waco, Texas, where he turned his sights on a likely primary opponent, America's Governor Ron DeSantis. Trump mocked DeSantis for asking for Trump endorsement when he first ran for governor in 2018, then accused DeSantis of adhering to the pandemic lockdown longer than necessary. Later, he brought up the DeSantis vote as a congressman to cut Social Security benefits, worth noting Trump initially and reluctantly called for lockdowns in March of 2020, remembering 15 days to flatten the curve, and then left the decision to the states. DeSantis first issued a stay-at-home order on April the 1st of 2020. He was the third governor in the nation to lift the order, which he did on April the 30th. By June the 3rd, 2020, bars and restaurants were open 50% capacity in most of the state. On September 25th, he issued an order that local authorities could not impose further shutdowns or blanket mitigation efforts. To accuse DeSantis of not moving quickly enough is kind of stupid and unfair, according to, what is being said. Also worth noting, at some point, Congress must authorize changes to the structure of the entitlement, like Medicare and Social Security. The president, who manages the looming insolvency crisis, will notch an historic legacy-making victory, whoever that president may be, but apparently it will never be Trump. Wow, I guess they just kind of went into some things on their own. There you go. And then arrest watch. Who knows what fresh hell will occur today? Might bring, because there has been this arrest watch going on now for what I feel like a week and some change. So there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had launched her own TikTok channel over the weekend, just after days that the app CEO testified to Congress last week over privacy and spying concerns. And the app AOC stands with the app and says that it should not be banned. Worth noting, TikTok's parent company ByteDance gave $150,000 to a Congressional Hispanic Caucus Foundation last year. AOC is on that foundation of advisory board, so just some information there. So worth asking, why do congressional causes need their own foundation? How is it that not obvious that the way to skirt the FEC laws, FEC, yes, I did say that, and that's what possible benefits here are the American constitutes for the foreign company funneling money into such organizations. I know a lot of stuff as we get swampy, and I don't like getting swampy, but we just got swamped, So I don't know. I was kind of in shock when I heard that, the kickoff for Trump was going to be in Waco. Do you think that he wanted to go there because he was interested in going into Magnolia? I mean, that seems to be the thing that people want to do when they go to Waco anyways. I mean, I'm just asking the question. Anyways, let me bring in somebody in here real quick that has some intelligence, and that guy's name is John Small. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, March 27th, 2023. Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets went on a topsy-turvy ride last week due to rising fear of a banking crisis and the FOMC. The FOMC went ahead and hiked another 25 basis points, indicating another hike is on the way. The risk for the market is that PCE data is due out soon and may not give the Fed much choice on the future of interest rates. The S&P 500 closed higher for the week, but showed resistance at the 150-day moving average. This will be another trying week for the market. Investors and traders will be on edge, waiting for the next bank to fail. And there will be little in the way of economic data or earnings to sustain action in the interim. The S&P 500 may be able to move higher on the lack of news, but a sustained rally is far from likely. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information right there on what was going on. Let me tell you what I was able to find in my circle of information. The Dow added about 132 points on Friday to close at 32,237. The S&P added about 22 points to close at 3,970. And the NASDAQ added about 35 points to close at 11,823. West Texas Intermediate closed at $69 a barrel, and Brent crude closed at $74 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas at $3.43, according to what was going on Sunday. Bitcoin improved by adding 1.3%, just at $27,800. There was more than 5,470 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and that was about 327 cancellations, because I think if you have all these damn things delayed, I mean, what's the need to cancel? So Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $332 million jackpot, or $174.3 million cash payout. Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $122 million jackpot, or a $66 million cash payout. So there you go. There you go. What do you think? What do you think about it as you are talking? I mean, that's a lot of dough if you like to play those kind of things. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk real quick. Many in Colorado Springs community are mourning the loss of Doherty High School student Jara. I'm gonna mess up this name. Let's see, Georgia Trishiola Brokewood, and teammates on the school softball team. Remember the kind person she was. Take a listen.
She was so bright and bubbly and smiley, like she lit up every room she walked into.
The 17-year-old senior foreign exchange student from Italy was hit and killed crossing Barnes Road outside of the school last Wednesday morning. Police said that the driver ran a red light, and Trishiola died at the scene. Trishiola was a three-sport athlete, the starting pitcher of the softball team, and described by her classmates as witty, caring, and welcoming. The city is working with the school district to establish flashing school zone signage and reduce speed limit that Barnes Road on the surrounding area. Students and staff gathered a candlelight vigil at the school softball field in her honor on Friday night. Carson Burgos, a classmate of Georgia Trishola at Dorothy High School, says that she was welcoming to everyone, even new students.
She was like one of the first people that I met this year, and she would always like check in on me, see if I was doing okay, like ask if I needed anything.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, and I know that this is not going to sound good in regards to the timing. The flashing lights in the crosswalk are always a good idea of doing, though. So, but if somebody ran a red light, I don't know how that's going to stop anything. I know that that's terrible. I don't know if you've been to Kansas City, but Kansas City has elevated walkways almost through the whole thing. If you're in the downtown section, I don't know why people think that it's so difficult to do that, but this might be the better idea. I say this all the time. If somebody could do the pedestrian crosswalks in Kansas City and most of the bulk of the highways in Texas, we might have a good plan on how to structure some of this shit, because it seems like we have a difficult time with these things as we are talking. Just saying. Anyways, take a listen to this. After a rare Sunday session, legislators are giving a final approval to proposal that will expand the state's red flag law. The bill would give district attorneys, doctors, and teachers the right to petition courts to have someone's gun taken from them if they pose a threat to others. Majority Leader Monica Duran, one of the primary sponsors, says that the person, after surviving domestic violence in which guns were used to intimidate, this is coming out of Denver, Colorado.
That impacts you for the rest of your life. It stays with you. And for me, that's why this was important, because I know the scars from what I went through as a young adult at 19 years old.
Supporters of the bill hope that raising the age to buy a gun from 18 to 21 will reduce violence and suicide among young people. Opponents say that the bill will put more people in harm's way by limiting the Second Amendment. The bill must go back to the Senate so that they can review the changes the House lawmakers made. Lawmakers will move closer towards the final vote on a bill to remove legal protections from gun manufacturers. Sunday was the third day in a row that lawmakers met to debate the package of gun control legislation. State Representative Ty Winter for District 47 is against the changes, saying that 18 years of age is old enough to decide for themselves when it comes to gun purchases.
They say a 12-year-old is knowledgeable enough to make decisions when it comes to mental health and medical decisions. But on the other hand, we say that at 18 years old, they're not mentally capable enough to make the decision of owning a firearm.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So why don't we change the age for alcohol to 18? I mean, I'm just asking the question. Why is it 21? If 18, I can join the military. 18, I can buy a gun. Why do I have to wait till I'm 21 to be able to drink? I'm just asking the question here. I mean, you brought it up, so I figured I would ask. I mean, did I do something wrong? I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying to say. Anyways, take a listen to this. 2 people are recovering after being shot at Sikh Temple in Sacramento, California, Sunday afternoon. Amir Gardi with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office explains what the hell happened.
Suspect 2 and Suspect 1 were in some sort of physical altercation. In that time, Suspect 1 shot a friend of Suspect 2, and that person went down. Suspect 2 was able to gather himself, pull out a gun himself, and shot Suspect 1.
Suspect 2 then fled on foot, but was arrested on Sunday night. It happened in the afternoon during the traditional celebration. Both victims are expected to recover. I mean, that's a lot of suspects. If you start thinking about it, that's for sure. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's do that thing that we do. And what do we call it? Doing that thing you do. I mean, that's it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, main story and prioritizations are the things that we're going to get to talk about today as we are getting a little, we got swampy a little bit earlier because I think that was part of what was being called for. But we're going to get to hang out and talk about all kinds of stuff today as we get into this. And here's where things always take that twist and turn inside of the stuff that we discuss in this lovely thing that we call our main story. So let's talk about this. Let's take a look into it. Let's move and groove inside of it because that's going to be important. But you know that when you start your day in the work that we do, we normally have some level of an idea of what the hell we believe, and that is a crucial stance there, of what we believe is going to happen. Yeah, we talk about it. But then things happen. Then things occur. So let's talk about how does your day look when you have a catastrophic event that occurs, when you have something that happens that is unexplained and unaccounted for that occurs inside of your day, that be an event that occurred, a catastrophic event that even as possible as leading to a fatality. No, seriously, I want you to think about that for a moment. If you have a fatality that occurs inside of your system, if you have a catastrophic event that occurs inside of your system, and you already had something that was planned out for the day, how do you prioritize your time? Because here's the question that I ask people all the time. If you have reports that are due, yes, the lovely quotation reports thing that we talk about, and the CEO, the CFO, the head of HR, the head of ooh la la, whatever the hell you want to call it, is asking you for this information, and you have something that is catastrophic that occurs inside of your organization, what happens? Because let's talk about it. We know that inside of organizations, some people think that the CEO, the CFO is the coup de grace. They believe that, they are the beginning and the end. You cannot, supersede anything that they have going on. You cannot bypass anything that is happening if they so say so. So what happens then? How do you take the time for the catastrophic event? How do you take the time for the fatality? I'm being serious. How do you make time for the things that all of a sudden have become a priority on the list? And let's be realistic. Some CEOs and CFOs can be jerks when it comes to that. Of like, it should have been done before this incident occurred. Well, no shit that it should have been done. I mean, we all have plans until you get hit in the face. Didn't Mike Tyson say something like that? So, what do you think about this? How do you prioritize your time? How do you retrack everything? Because let's be realistic. Most fatality investigations are a multiple day event that occur in regards to when you're looking into it. And we're not even talking about the human factor into the whole thing, the impact that it's going to have inside of the organization. We're just talking about the investigation side. We're not talking about how all of a sudden it has a huge impact into your work organization, how it has a huge impact to the family's life of the people that the person that passed away is leaving behind. All those things have to play a factor into it. But how do you prioritize that time? And I mean, listen to this. I mean, listen to how this is being worded. It's like, wow, what are we valuing human life? But that's how some organizations look at it, and not taking into consideration how important the human life is into the whole thing. I was talking to an organization a few weeks ago, and they were like, yeah, on average, about one person a month we kill. One person a month. Now, I want you to think about that. You are working for someone that tells you that you know, on average, there is one person that you know that even could be you that's going to die inside of the organization that you work for. I don't think that's a place I want to work at. I'm just saying. But I look at this and I go, how do we prioritize our time? Why is it that we look at reports as such an important aspect opposed to trying to figure out how to save people's lives? Think about it. And now you might be sitting there and go, well, that doesn't really apply to me. That's not how my organization works. But things do change, right? Things do happen inside of an organization where things change. So do you ever look at an organization and go, well, I think we were safer before than what we are now? Or you might think, I think we are safer now than what we were before. What do you think of that makes you assume that you're safer? Think about that today. I think that might be an interesting one.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Snarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
So, do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage. I'm talking truth.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
I'm a decorated veteran, let me say. It's been a long stretch of weather. Your storm clouds hanging out in
Okay, 42 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this marvelous Monday. Yeah, you are still, by the way, you are still listening to the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. So let's start talking. This right here is After Our Eyes. That's the name of the song. This is by the Wanderers. You can give it a little download if you want, or a little stream action from YouTube Music, Apple Music, or Spotify. Yes, some little Spotify action. Just some stuff to take a gander at, if you wanted to do so. Anyways, let's get back into it. Let's start talking. Thanks to the Wanderers for allowing us to play this one right here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yes, Rated R Safety Show. I always think it's funny on how people think that for some reason there's an X inside of this show somewhere. It's not X. We are not the NC-17 show, that's for sure. We are definitely not the PG-13 show. I guess I really have never told that story. Maybe I should talk about that for a moment. At one point, I had a local radio station, yes, here in Orlando, reach out to me and wanted me to move this little show to their terrestrial radio station. Yes, terrestrial radio. Just in case if you're not sure what terrestrial radio is, that's the one you pick up on your FM or AM channel inside of your radio, inside of your car. You know, if you have to have a normal radio to do that. And they wanted me to move this little rated R show to their station. They had asked me to do 18 minutes worth of commercials for every hour that I was on. Yes, 18 minutes. As we speak right now, you probably get about 8. But they wanted 18 minutes worth of commercials, and they wanted me to take the Rated R Safety Show and put it on terrestrial radio, which that would have automatically made it the PG-13 show, because I can't say some of the stuff that I say on terrestrial radio. I've learned that throughout the years. So that would have never worked out. I thought about it, gave it a lot of consideration, consulted with my mentor about what to do, and it didn't pan out because there were some limitations there. And I remember there was also some talks for a period of time of me actually broadcasting from a theme park. And I don't know if I want to go into that one. Maybe we can, and I'm talking on almost on a permanent basis, but we can talk about that on a different day. We can talk about that from a different day. And I'm not talking about broadcasting for the theme park. I'm broadcasting from the theme park. And we can talk about that at a later time if you're so inclined to hear. But let me tell you right now, if anything, about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you or your loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org. That's 988lifeline.org, or you can call 988 or text the word TALK to 988. Either one of those things will get everything moving and grooving for you. There is no doubt about it. Listen, we all go through struggles sometimes. There is no doubt about it. But they are the best resources in regards of being able to help you on what is going on. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call them at 988. You can text the word TALK to 988, or you can go to the website at 988lifeline.org. Let's talk real quick about some of the things that are going on inside of the world. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm exclusively for the next couple hours or so, doing the things that we do over there on the music side of the house. And we'll talk about the things that are going on in a topical manner. There is no doubt about that as we hang out. And then we'll get into some music because that's important. But if you hang out here, you'll get to listen to Sheldon Primus as he does his thing, because that's what Sheldon Primus does. His thing, he does that here for you to take a listen to. So it's always some fun times as those things go about. So let's talk real quick. The restaurant chain Panera Bread is testing a new palm scanning technology for Amazon that will automatically identify the customers, adjust menu items, accelerate payments, and even allow workers to greet people by name. Panera says the project will begin to roll out on Amazon One in the coming months. Panera is the first national restaurant to use Palm technology, which IDs customers using their hands, allowing them to pay and access their loyalty account with their Palm. The company says that the guests who link their My Panera account to Amazon One will enjoy the convenience of fast payments as well as tailored meal recommendations from Panera associated based on their preferences of previous orders. When customers are done ordering, guests can scan their Palm again to pay. The good news is that they will no longer charge you an arm and a leg where you won't be able to pay. So there you go. And yes, the workers will be able to greet you by name, at least for as long as they still have workers, because I am sure that things are subject to change as the world will go on. Because think about that. Think about how weird that will be as we are moving forward with all of that information.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, of course you're listening to the Rated R Safety Show, because that's what we do around here. Anyways, take a listen to this. You know that it goes. Hold on. You know how it goes. You don't want to tell someone something that they don't want to hear, so you stretch the truth just a little, and that's okay to more than half of us. Yes, but it's In a survey, of 55% of respondents said that it is permissible to lie to spare someone's feelings, while 45% that said they're okay with telling lies to protect the relationship. However, in a poll of Canadians also found that 3 in 4 people, 74%, think that the person should always be truthful, regardless of the consequences. Young adults ages 18 to 34 were found most likely to have wished someone to have told them a little white lie at some point in their lives, and that it comes when it comes to gender, fewer women, 40%, don't have a problem with fibbing in certain circumstances than men, 49%, or do they? Of course, in the case of Sheldon Primus, you're more likely to have him give a big white lie. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there as you give it some thoughts.
Duh.
So, anyways, there you go. There you go. There you go. With some of that information as we are talking. What else do we have going on? Because there's always all kinds of news and information on the things that are happening inside of this sequence. Let's do this. I know it's a little bit earlier than what we normally do, but let's go ahead and get into some Motivation Minute. We'll bring some John Smalls back inside of here and let him tell you some things to get you motivated.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Troy. Albert Einstein said, "If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things." I love that. Einstein was a pretty smart guy. He knew that goals are a way for us to measure things. If you do set a goal, make it a SMART goal. That stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Now, I've heard others who use a slightly different measurement, but whatever works best for you, use that. Just set a goal and work towards that goal each and every day. It can be tiny steps, but make sure you take strides towards the goal and you will be on your way to that happy life Einstein talks about. Set a goal, then just as important, build a plan to actually achieve that goal. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A Florida mother says a new state law has her living a nightmare.
The woman from the Gainesville area is one of 4 parents who filed a federal lawsuit over the state's ban on transgender treatment for children. Each of the plaintiffs has a transgender child. The mom claims the ban is unconstitutional and will cause irreparable harm. The woman is referred to as Brenda Bowe in court documents, and her 14-year-old son is known as Bennett Bowe. Brenda says the rule is cruel and discriminatory and puts her in the nightmare position of not being able to help her child when he needs it the most. I'm Rick Hoschel.
A bill that limits gender-affirming treatment care for minors is set to become law in Georgia. Republican Governor Brian Kemp has signed it, saying it would ensure we protect the health and well-being of Georgia's children. It bars doctors from providing hormone therapy or surgery related to gender transition to minors under the age of 18. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 52 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out and doing our thing. That is for sure. So let's talk a little bit about some other things that are going on inside of the world. We talked about this a little bit at the beginning here, but Tom Brady is now part owner of the WNBA team, the Las Vegas Aces. The news was announced by the Aces owner Mark Davis, who called former QB win not only for the Aces, but for the WNBA, for the women's professional sports as a whole. No word on how much Brady's partial ownership is worth, but the team is valued at an estimated $13.7 million. That's 13.7. Brady also owns a major league pickleball team, and that's not a joke as I'm saying that. So there you go. Some things that we are talking about right there. Anyways, let's get into some other things as we are taking a look around. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. And if I take a look around, let's go back into 2022, just in case if you forgot about this. But the slap heard around Hollywood. Will Smith storms the stage and slaps Oscar host Chris Rock after comedian makes a joke about Smith's wife. Smith would later apologize for his actions and resign his Academy membership. He also gets banned from attending the Academy events for 10 years. So there you go. I mean, I still thought it was kind of a weird thing that after that occurred, they still let him receive the Oscar and do his whole little speech thing. I've been like, get your ass out of here. But that's me. That's on me in regards to how I think about that. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Brenda Song, she turns 35. Jesse J turns 35. Buster Posey turns 36. Manuel Neuer turns 37. Fergie turns 48. Nathan Fillion turns 52. Elizabeth Mitchell, 53. Mariah Carey turns 54 today. Kevin Corrigan turns 54. Quentin Tarantino, yeah, that guy, he turns 60 today. And Cal Yarborough turns 84. So there you go. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I always have some of those for you. It's World Theater Day, National Spanish Paella Day, International Whiskey Day, Quirky Country Song Titles Day, and International Scribble Day. So there you go. Just some other things inside of the world that you can take a looker at if you're so inclined to do so. Let's talk about Did You Know? A smart bandage is being developed that can monitor healing and even provide antibiotics to an injury site, as well as stimulate the growth of tissue using electrical signals. California Institute of Technology scientists have manufactured the high-tech polymer bandages, which would be, in theory, a heal wound more quickly and affordably, especially for those with certain chronic illnesses that are known to slow down the healing process, such as diabetes. But I can get one more with Bart Simpson on it, so there you go. That's going to be important. I mean, why would you not want a Band-Aid or a versionality of that with a Bartholomew J on it without it? I mean, come on. Let's talk about some whack facts. Only 8% of the world's currency is physical money. The rest exists on computers. When started, geckos make a noise that sounds like an eek. Yeah, when startled, not when started. There is a Swiss Army knife with 31 features, including tool for emergency thermomatics. Volcanic ash has been known to retain heat for up to 100 years. Pinocchio is Italian for pine eye, just in case. And when Billboard first introduced the country music chart in 1939, it was called Hillbilly Chart. That's not a joke. Look it up. I didn't make that up. I'm just telling you what was going on there. Anyway, so let's go through some other stuff as we are talking, because why would you not do that? Let's talk about some scoops of BS. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that his kids no longer access TikTok due to recent concerns with privacy security. Translation, his kids no longer access TikTok while he's in the room. A human skull was found near Daytona Beach in Florida. There was no brain in it, so authorities are assuming that it was a local. Pro tip, if you want to talk about March Madness around the water cooler, but don't know anything about basketball, just say, wow, Gonzaga, right? MLB opening day is this Thursday. Thank God. If you ask me, preseason baseball should be called March Blandness. A recent survey suggests that nearly 75% of people text, email, or surf the web while on the toilet. Not me. I prefer quality squatting while watching everyone else in the park. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those. I told my wife that she should embrace her mistakes, and then she hugged me. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. When was the last time you were forced to yell at someone besides your kids? That one's too easy to answer. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Question, if you have one of these, you're probably also carrying it around at least 5 extra pounds. What is it? A spouse. A spouse. So there you go. There's some stuff to think about. Anyways, thank you for taking a listen to what the hell we have going on around here. It is always a joy to hang out with you and do the things that we get to do. It. Like I said at the top of the hour, we will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come out, hang out, listen to some music, or you can stay here on Safety FM and take a listen to what Sheldon Primus has coming up here on the Safety Consultant Show coming up next. Anyways, if I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Say something positive and you'll see something positive. Think about that. Things can change inside of your world just with that little thing. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.